Hey folks, let's go over some other business practices. This one's gonna be regarding work orders. Why do we do work orders? Why do we have them? A lot of you guys ask me, what's the difference between a work order and a counter transaction? Why do you need to do a work order versus a transaction? Obviously, a lot of it is up to you guys and the way you run your shops, the way you do business, the type of transactions you're doing. Generally speaking, the way the system is set up is counter transactions are going to be for your same day cash and carry type sales. I come into your store, I buy some vanes and some fletching glue to fletch my own arrows, or I come in and I buy a sight from you guys that I'm going to install on my bow myself, or I come in and buy a target or a pack, something that doesn't really require any labor or service or setup, or doesn't require me to leave any of my equipment with you guys for an extended period of time. And it's not a special order. I'm getting it, I'm paying for it, I'm leaving with it. Whereas the work order is going to be more set up for your items that are either maybe special orders, they require some type of labor or service in setting them up. Maybe they're dropping off their boat with you guys to have strings and cables put on, or to get it retuned, or to get a new rest on, something along those lines, something where they are leaving their boat with you. It's going to be in your possession, and you are now responsible for keeping track of it and doing something to it. So the big advantage of the work orders in those types of situation is um, it stays open in your bow desk. Um, you'll have a full list of all your orders and what types they are in your store. So if you're using everything, then you're going to know, okay, I've got, this bow service, or this new bow sale, or this online order, or this arrow service for this customer. This is the date I created it, so it's been here since this day, and this is the day, the due date is the day that I told the customer would be done, as well as what the status is. There's multiple statuses you can pick from to kind of help you keep track of it. Um, Approved to let you know that you're ready to work on it and you have all the parts. Uh, Waiting on parts to remind you that you have ordered it and you're just waiting for the parts to come in. Needs to order parts, so to remind you that you need to order parts for that order or that service. And then completed would mean you're done with it. You've notified the customer that you're done, and you're just waiting for them to come pick it up. So, a couple statuses there to help you guys kind of keep track of where you're at in your work orders, as well as obviously the pay status too, so you guys can keep an eye on and a track of, what they owe you. Have they paid for everything? Do they still owe you? How much do they owe you? Is it a layaway? And then notes. So if we go into a work order, and I'll just pick one at random here, it's going to give us our the stuff that's on the order. So for this example, we've got a bow, we've got arrows. We can also track the specs on it, so that's a huge advantage on the work orders. Is I can go into my spec sheet for bows and arrows, and I can put in all the stuff that we usually write down anyways on two-part piece of paper or on a sheet that we keep with the bow. Regarding the tune information, dexterity, draw length, poundage, string and cable length, peep height, knock height, serial number, all that good stuff. This is all editable. It saves automatically to the system, to the customer's dashboard, and you can print it. So if this customer comes in a year down the road and wants his bow tuned up again, or 2 years and he wants new strings and cables, you have all this information. So that dramatically increases your customer service levels and your presence and your professionalism to the customer having that, and it makes it easier for you guys in the future to do work on those bows, because you don't have to retake down that information. You know how it was set up when it left your store versus when it came back, and you have something to reference to. Same thing with arrows. The arrows is a big one, and it was one of my favorites when I was working in a shop, because I'm sure you guys have all had it. The customer that comes in and he wants to get arrows from you guys because the arrows you made for him last time were super super cool and he shot really well with them. And he asks you, "Did you make them?" And we always ask him, "Well, did you bring an arrow with you?" And he's like, "Well, no, I thought you guys had it." And then we laugh at him and remind him, "Oh, well, I've built 1,000 arrows for 100 different customers in the past 2 weeks. I don't remember yours." And so they got to drive back to their house, go get an arrow or their bow, and bring it back, and you got to set it up. We don't think that's a big deal, but sometimes to some customers that is a big deal because they kind of expected us to have it, and they expected us to take care of them without all these extra questions and all this extra drive time and all these extra trips. So this allows you to save their information for that reason. So now they come back and you go, yeah, let me look it up. What's your name? Um, yeah, you were shooting FMJ 400s. We cut them at 27 inches. How do you want them fletched? Just different things like that. Or, wife comes in, wants to buy her husband a dozen arrows for his birthday or Christmas. Rather than telling her go back into his hunting room, sneak into his room, grab a arrow out of his quiver, but be careful, it might have a broadhead on it. Don't cut yourself. Bring it back. We'll match it up. Things like that. It just allows you guys to keep track of all that stuff. Even potentially do phone orders. That's something that a lot of my shops have started doing now that they are tracking this. Is they will take payment over the phone, pull up the customer's info and arrow information off of their ePRO, and build the order there, and then just notify the customer via text, email, or a phone call that it's ready for pickup, and the customer just come down and pick it up, and it's a seamless, quick, easy transaction. So it really opens up your guys' avenues of being able to do different types of sales or transactions to really cater to your customers and make things easier on you guys, and keep up with that. It also allows you to do different things like track who's been in and out of the work orders, who's been editing it, who's been taking payments, when, what time. So that way, if you have any discrepancies, you can look it up and, ask the correct employee or person to see what was going on. And then notes. Obviously, notes is a big one because these notes are viewable in the future. So you can put tune information in there, how the bow tuned, you can put how you set it up, you can put in issues that may have happened with it, maybe the bow consistently comes out of time, and so maybe something's up with the strings or whatever the case may be. It just allows you to track all those things really, really well. Um, on the financial side, it just helps you keep track of your payments a lot better. So there are a lot of advantages to doing work orders and tracking them and doing them well. All of it's optional, all of it's editable. So, if you just use your work orders to get the items in there and that's it, awesome. If you use them for payments, notes, completion dates, awesome. However you want to use it. Definitely utilize it to your shop's strengths and weaknesses. Get it in there, get the information in there, save it. If you've got questions or recommendations on how to use the work order more effectively or how to make it quicker and easier for your shop to accomplish those tasks, feel free to let us know. Give us a call, 480-664-2096, or email, Dan at Org My Range or Cassie at Org My Range. And we'd love to hear your ideas, answer your questions, help you with that stuff. And if we can improve it in any way, we'd love to do that. Thanks, guys.